Getting there.
Right.
Hopefully. Sweet.
Hey,
Hello, everyone.
Sorry we're late. Technical difficulties on our end.
That's no joke. For sure.
We're still getting used to all the setup and all the buttons and all the stuff. So we apologize. Thank you for waiting on us.
Absolutely.
How are you guys feeling? Still in disbelief, anyone? So excited? I couldn't sleep last night. I was still really excited. I kept watching replays and highlights.
Yeah.
So. Can you hear us?
Let us know if you can hear us a little bit. If not, then we can change stuff. But we got some new stuff, so hopefully you can. But if not, then we'll be able to fix it. Trying to change that color again, but
we don't know how to do that. So it's yellow today.
It's yellow today. I'm sure
it's yellow today.
But no biggie. All right, well, guess we'll get officially started here in a minute or so. How was your day?
It was good. I saw like 5.5 patients.
Yeah.
I say half because one was late, but so everybody's getting ready for Thanksgiving. So a lot of people are canceling on us. So how was your day?
It's good. Unfortunately, the Zeno zone didn't do as well this week, but we will get to that here shortly.
If you did make bets with the Zeno parlay,
close to it,
we are not liable for our dog's choices and your choices in gambling. So
he'll get better. He'll get better. Just gotta focus.
He's more of a softball dog than a football dog. He doesn't really sit as well through and pay attention during football games than he does softball.
That's true.
I don't know. During softball games, maybe because it's the yellow ball and he could actually see it. I don't know. Maybe he's just not a football fan. Like softball.
Awesomeness. Program changing win. We'll get into that. This is gonna bother me if we can't change this color. I really don't know how to do that though. But oh well.
Oh well. Hey.
Yeah.
So we're gonna. Right. I asked for your pictures. So we tried to upload the video, and it said it was too big, which is annoying because I think it was only like half a second too big. So we're gonna try to share screen and show the pictures. They do go by quickly because I was trying to get as many pictures from you guys as I could. Your picture was not featured because you got it to me too late, and I had a deadline to get this thing done, and I apologize. But I think I got most of you, not all of your pictures, but I wanted to feature your pretty faces. So hopefully it works.
Okay, well, let's play this, and then shut up. I think we'll just go with this mic because you said you're echoing. Yeah, I think I don't know why it's doing that, but we'll just use this. No worries. Should be able to hear us now. We're going to just use this because it said it was echoing, so we should be able to talk into this thing and be all right. And
we're having some major issues.
Yeah, it's all good. Stop screen share. Hey, we're back.
Bearing with us, everyone.
It's all good.
Happy Monday.
Yeah. Can y'all hear us for this one? Is that better?
Sorry you could not hear the video. There was really fun, dramatic music over it. So now I'm a little upset I worked so hard, but also at least I'm glad you got to see all your beautiful, smiling, happy faces. So, Harry, yes, Harry, I'm so proud of you. You almost lost your voice and you stormed the field. So proud. If you didn't lose your, at least if you didn't almost lose your voice, were you really even at the game? Or in my case, even sitting on your couch, I'll lose my voice yelling at the television.
That's true. All right. Well, first thing we're going to talk about, I guess, is just the overall game. I guess start off, I guess, with the storming the field, the whole thing that went on at the end of the game. What did you think of the storming the field and all that?
Okay, so I've had some people ask me about this. I have very mixed emotions about storming the field. In this instance, with the exception of storming early, I thought it was very appropriate. The players loved it. Most of the fans love it. It was just a really happy, joyful experience. Bama fans, you can take some credit, but not too much. Everybody's saying, oh, well, it's just because it's Bama. No, it's because you're the 7th-ranked team in the nation. The Sooners have had a tough season. The Brent Venables and his family and his wife, Julie, they've been going through it. We've been through a lot this season. There's a lot of pent-up energy. And for us to get that win was big for the program, for the players, for the seniors. We have so many seniors that we just love and adore. And for them, they deserve this. Should have executed it a little bit better. Should have watched the clock a little bit better for those who did storm. But I understand the excitement. And I had no issue with it in this instance. If this would have been our 9th or 10th win of the season, don't do that. If you're the higher ranked team and you storm, don't do that. I don't like it in those instances, but there is a time and place for it. It makes the sport fun, besides the fact that you get fined for it, but whatever.
Yeah, $200,000. I mean, that's fine. Could have gone to a good, football player maybe, but that is what it is. I kind of felt the same. I am typically not a fan of storming the field when you are, a blue blood program. It's just not what those programs typically do. But I think if there was ever a season or a team that deserved it, it would be this one. It just felt like every game we were like a boxer with one hand behind their back with our offense, and it felt like finally we were able to fight a full 12 rounds with both sides of the ball playing well, and it just felt like such a relief for everybody involved. And I think that moving forward, it really shows that no matter what you kind of have going, the ability to switch it back especially for a guy like BV and Bill Bedenbaugh even. For me, I was so happy for BV. Like, you could tell, like, his smile after the game, even when he was talking with Holly Rowe, and he had his 2 daughters there, and
joy.
and yeah, I mean, like, genuine just happiness to finally get over the hump and just have a game go to plan, like he talked about, being relentless on 3 phases of the ball and really winning all 3. Hadn't happened, and I don't think any of us thought it was actually going to happen until the Kip 6 and all that. But I was still just skeptical of it. We talked about it on our live after, but I was just really not. I just could not believe we were really doing that well. And to see Brent just smile and to have the ability to kind of have that weight lifted off his shoulder after all of the talk of, is he the guy? Is he this? Is he that? I think at the very minimum, and I wonder if you agree, I think that and I agree here with Jackson. Brent, if that game doesn't show you that he's building a culture and a foundation that can last, and not only last, but can be really, really productive, I don't know what else you need to see. I mean, to have those kids play like that when they're 5-5, you would have thought they were playing for the college football playoff spot, not Alabama. You would have thought they were playing to make it to the SEC championship game, not Alabama. And, they were more physical. They fought. They didn't give up. And to have young kids, buy in like that, it just shows what Venables is able to do in terms of making people believe in the process and believing what we need to be doing on a daily basis to become, champions and to become even, get back to the mountaintop like we all want to eventually. But
Absolutely. And I think it's just human nature when you are quote unquote failing consistently, and or in this case, you're just losing, and you're losing sometimes in the most dramatic ways. How easy it would be just to give up, truly, just to roll over, give up, sit out, not play, not give any effort. And you saw just the opposite of that, and you could tell they just wanted to make it special for those seniors. The last home game of the season. It's a big game. They had a lot to prove, not only to themselves, but like for their coaches. And just they executed, just period. It was just the execution, the energy, the want. The want was there. And sometimes the team that wants it more wins. Now, if we play that game 10 times, who knows what happens? But we only play once, and turned out great for Oklahoma.
Only play once, and our defense, like, start with the defense. I had said a long time for most of the year on Twitter and even with family and friends, I think our defense is legitimately national championship good. I think it's, at worst top 15. I think if you give them the offensive production you had Friday, they can be a top 5, top 10 defense consistently. They have playmakers all over the field, and that's including, that's even including the missing Gentry the whole year and Dolby after the Tennessee game. Who proved to be, a huge, proved to be a really big injury, one more impactful than even I thought it was at the time. And Deshaun McCullough's come on and he's played really well too. But to have, that guy come in and to be able to maybe have Dolby there as well, you're just adding more depth. Yeah, and even exactly. And to show, the defense finally got a chance to play where they weren't, playing from behind. They actually got to play with a lead and know that what the offense was trying to get ready to do. And to hold Milroe to 7 yards. We only have 1 sack, so it's not like you're losing a bunch of rushing yards to sacks or anything. And to hold him to 11 yards, I just had some stats at what he'd done in games past. Against LSU, he ran 12 carries for 185 yards and 4 touchdowns. Against Missouri, he runs for 50 yards and a touchdown. And then Tennessee did the best. He had 14 carries, 11 yards. But Tennessee had 3 sacks in that game, so that kind of detracted from his numbers. Oklahoma holds them to 7 yards total. That's just an insane stat. It's almost hard to believe someone that athletic is held.
With that, I saw a stat that says in Alabama's 3 losses, Milroe has 28 yards total. Not in each game, total. So it shows you, he's obviously the player. He's the quarterback. So everything runs, through him, and he's one of the best players on the field. And it also shows that's kind of the game plan for if you want to shut down Alabama, you better shut down Jalen Milroe. Yeah, I don't know why I was like, wait.
It was the Vanderbilt game plan. It was basically the same exact thing. You probably watch Vanderbilt film. Double option, QB keeps, complementary football is key on, especially playing good teams. You had to. My dad had said it on our spaces.
His dad.
My dad, yeah, coach. Time of possession was key, and we won it by, I think, 10 minutes, so if not more. But there was a time whenever we were averaging, Xavier Robinson was averaging over 11 yards a carry against Alabama. It's just, yeah, and it's just like, it's just shocking. We struggled to run the ball against Tulane, and Tulane's actually a really good team, but still, it's just you're not going to have a defensive front like Alabama does, and to see us not only be able to do that, but to see it do it consistently, and every time we had the offense was on the field, it really was just. When are you going to score again, or when are you going to get downfield enough? And it's just ticking time off the clock, and our defense getting break after break,
right?
Which is huge.
And when our defense got turnovers, we didn't turn it right back over, which is huge. And I believe I said in our very first podcast, if we play Alabama, I said I want to see a clean game. I said if I don't want to see us having 3, 4, 5 turnovers or near turnovers or any of that, I just want to see us play a clean game. And we had 1 fumble. And other than that, it was fantastic. And that's what happens. You can win a game if you're not just turning it over and shooting yourself in the foot. And it was just, I was very, very proud of them. And it was fun. Even though throughout the whole game, I was just waiting for something. Not as much as Chad, though. I was drinking the hope down early. Like, we can do this. What if we win? What if we do this? Like, what if... And he's like, just calm down. Just calm down. Just calm down. Like, when the clock hits 0, then we'll talk about it. But some of the fun stats that we saw throughout, which I'm sure you did too, we just kind of want to name off some. Do you want to start one?
No, you got. I don't have a list.
So Alabama was undefeated against unranked teams going back all the way to 2003. Broken. Alabama, this was their lowest score for Alabama in approximately 20 years. This is the first time they did not score a touchdown in a game since 2011. Say what you want about the penalty, regardless, at the end of the day, no touchdown. Since 2011. And Alabama had 10 plus points in 182 straight games. Broken. So lots of history in the making. And as a Sooner fan, I feel like we're usually on like the bad side of that. Like we're the ones making these crazy stats get broken on us or whatever. But it was nice to be the breaker. Mm-hmm. The breaker, not the breaky. I don't know. But it was really cool. And then to see all those stats, like just defines how good this defense really is.
Biggest loss for Alabama since the 2018 National Championship game in which they played Clemson and in which Brent Venables was also the defensive coordinator.
I see a common denominator.
So there's something there for BV. I want to throw a couple defensive stats out that are just insane. So OU right now has the 23rd ranked scoring defense in the country. And I got this stat off Twitter. I wish I could find it. I think it was Sooner Bread Pod, or I forget its name exactly. But shout out to you because I saw this off your page, and I have it liked, so I would tweet it. But I don't want to take people's effort. But here are some teams that are on our schedule, and where they rank in scoring offense minus the game against us. So Tulane averaged 43 a game, Ole Miss 39, Alabama 39, Tennessee 39, Texas 37. Against OU, they averaged 19.8. Despite the fact that our defense still played more snaps on defense than any other team in college football. That's an insane statistic.
And they were not consistently going the length of the field because of how we would turn it over on downs.
And really, every game we played, we've been in. I mean, the Texas and South Carolina game, South Carolina got out of hand much quicker because the offense, we gave 14 points away just like that. But the Texas game, it was 7-3 for the longest, until the back-to-back fumbles. I mean, and then it makes you wonder if you just would go those games without turning it over. What is our record right now? I don't know if we beat a team like Texas, but we're getting to that. I don't know who. Texas still hasn't played a great team yet. So, or they played Georgia, beating a great team, but
somebody has a quality win.
And there's some interesting things that if A&M beats Texas this weekend, what happens with the college football playoff? If you're not going to be a conference champion and get a bye, you probably want to be the 5 seed because you're going to get the worst of the teams that get in, and then you're going to get the 5 seed or the 5 seed right after that. So it's just, or actually you're going to get Boise or the Big 12 champion. So that's my 2 cents on that real quick. Middle 8, Brent Venables talks about it a lot.
Yes.
Oklahoma finally won a game and just dominated it. Last time I remember them doing it that well was against Texas in the last year, where you come out and you get points, you come out again, you score.
Do we have that graphic?
It's we and there are certain
brand
things that you can kind of look at for this stuff, and T had been talking about it a lot.
Yes. Okay. So I was watching a lot of stats. I'm putting this down. Thank you. So as you talked about, Brent Venables has talked about owning the middle 8. So essentially what that means is the last 4 minutes of the second quarter, the first 4 minutes of the third quarter, middle 8, okay? So in that middle 8 was the defining moment of the game. It's really what set us up for victory. And so during that middle 8 that we owned, there was a muffed punt. Oh, here it is. Here is this beautiful graphic. So you see right there in the middle line there, right there in the middle between, you see where the tide literally turns in our favor? That would be called the middle 8. And here's what happened during that middle 8 that turned the tide in our favor. And pun intended, obviously. So Alabama they basically muff a punt. Terrible punt. We get it, and we just get chunk after chunk. That's when the person behind us, if you watched our postgame, was saying, we're blocking. This is weird. We're executing. And from there, Xavier Robinson scores with 37 seconds left. And this was around the 4-minute mark that they muffed the punt. So we took the 4.5 minutes to drive back down the field and score that touchdown. Let's see. Then we're up, what was it? 10-3. Mm-hmm. So that had been 10-3 going into halftime. We come out after halftime. During that middle 8, Eli Bowen gets an interception. Takes care of the ball, goes down. We get the ball at 15-yard line. Mm-hmm. punch it in for another touchdown. Now we're up 17-3. 2-score game. So we made the game go from tied to a 2-score game within that middle 8, which you see now our percentage is getting deeper into that win probability. Just outside of that middle 8, it was around the, it's just outside of it. I don't know exact time. Is when we got the KIP 6, which puts us about halfway through that third quarter there, which is where we have that 99% probability that we're going to win that game. And it just shows how important and how quickly the game can change in that amount of time. And that was a very fun moments for Sooner fans. And during that time, Jacob Jordan had a great second down catch. He's so good at finding the sticks. Can we get this off? You didn't catch it. It's on ESPN. So I guess there's my my citation. But Jacob Jordan had a great second down catch right at the sticks. Kid is good at finding the sticks. He knows where to set up, and he gets there. And that was a big issue for me last year. I feel like a lot of times we would be like a yard and a half in front of it. I'm like, what are we doing? But he's very good at finding them. On after the Eli Bowen interception, when X runs it in, I believe it is J.J. Hester and Howland had huge blocks for him on that touchdown. So huge that I noticed it. And then on his first touchdown, when I was rewatching it today, Zion Kearney had an amazing block. And just to see it literally all come together in the execution is just chef's kiss. Beautiful. And I'm going to stop talking because I feel like now I'm on my soapbox. So, but I thought the graphic was really fun because during the game, Chad and I were talking about, wow, we're owning the middle 8. Or after the first 4, we're like, wow, we just own the middle 4. Let's see if we own the middle 8. And sure enough, we did. So then I told him last night, hey, pull up that graphic. I want to see it. Sure enough, it's the perfect into our favor. Beautiful.
Yeah, it was awesome. Hey, Spencer, I hope you're doing well, man. I hope you're doing well. Hope everyone's the fam's doing well as well. BB is Bama's kryptonite. Seems like it, especially when you look at this stat right here. It's kind of wild. BB's 1-0, undefeated. Stoops 3-0, and then LR 0-1. I will say Lincoln Riley played a really good Alabama team. But it also, that first catch, I don't know if it was that Jerry Jeudy touchdown when the ball was moving on his chest. I will forever be upset about that. Yeah, so that was
the revenge for that touchdown.
Now this is absolutely true. Ryan Williams is as advertised. He's ridiculous. He hit, like really, if not the touchdown catch, the one that actually didn't count, when he was out of bounds and he does like a 360 while he's falling down to catch it was insane.
And his foot was like that far out. The only tackle Eli Bowen missed.
Yeah, yeah. He caught earlier in the game. He caught the cross route where he beat Eli on a slant, and he turns it into crossing route. Then he has that later one whenever he's rolled out of bounds. Well, he is out of bounds when he catches it. But then he just that one was a touchdown. But I mean, we just like you heard it on I think Abe and Teddy said it on the radio that we just we deserve a break after what we've gotten. Like goodness. But it was a touchdown. It would have been 24-10 instead of 24-3. I don't think it would have changed the game. The way Oklahoma ran the ball, they weren't going to do much else. I mean, it's just tough for them to even get anything going. And what makes OU good, and what makes OU
had the ball for like 8 minutes.
Yeah. Well, what makes OU good is that they stop the run really well, and that's good defenses stop the run. And Jalen Milroe at that point had already thrown 3 interceptions, or at that point had thrown I think 2 interceptions. Because Woody Washington gets the final one. But I don't know if they trust him enough to just go down the field again, especially with how quick. Now, like our DNs aren't the biggest, but they're quick. And as big as I think Pritchett and Pritchard, something like that, and then Caden Proctor are, they're also big, and so they're not as laterally quick. And I think that really was giving them problems, especially on passing downs. And they were behind the chains a lot. Oklahoma was good at staying in front of the chains. Didn't have a negative offensive play until almost 7 minutes left in the third quarter. That's insane. I mean, that's not even. I mean, that's just you almost fall down and have an accidental negative play. But to have that kind of production on offense and then to be able to complement it and give our defense the breaks they needed, that's why you kind of get that like modern day here is saying. That punishing, relentless, suffocating defense. It's but that's always been possible. It's just you're having to be thrown in situations that you're you're not rested, or there's a pick six, the first, interception first play of the game, then a pick six, and then a scoop and score, and now it's like your defense is getting punished statistically for the things your offense has done.
Right.
And it just makes it really, really difficult.
And also, they made a lot of turnovers in other games, and we turned it right back over. So this was the one game that we didn't do that. We escalated on it and took that momentum.
Yeah.
It's always good to see you too, senor. You said it's good to see you pregame, even though you walked by. Definitely had a great anniversary weekend. Yes, you did. Happy anniversary. Yes, we had SEC Offensive Player of the Week. We had SEC Defensive
Player of the Week.
And offensive and freshman.
Yeah, Offensive Lineman of the Week, Freshman of the Week, and then Defensive Lineman of the Week.
So 3 Sooners, 3 awards of the week.
Yeah, and I think it's big for last thing, and then we'll come into the LSU one, but LSU preview. But I really think it was big for Beadenbow too, because you had Vasusi going to visit Texas, the 5-star tackle that's committed right now, and you hope that he felt like he missed out while he was at the Texas game.
I hope he had major FOMO.
And right. And because you want that guy to be on campus, and I mean, the recruiting insiders and the people that follow recruiting still say Oklahoma, is the favorite. Wilt Fong from On3 is still saying, predicting he's going to end up at OU. But that to have that kind of game and that kind of production, it shows a lot of kids that even might be on the fence, like, hey, Oklahoma has something going. And when you get 8 guys back on your offense, and you get starters back and playmakers back, how good can that team be? I don't think we're far off. I think we have the talent as it stands already, with another year of training and another year of conditioning and another year of just learning the system to make a run next year. I really do, especially with what other teams are losing. Oklahoma's going to have a lot of talent and a lot of experience coming back, especially with having to play the young kids. Yeah, because on defense, I think you're only going to lose Downs. You're going to lose Terry. You're going to lose Billy Bowman and Danny. And granted, that's not like just losing guys. Those are obviously really good players, so I'm not trying to downplay that. But we have, I think, players behind them that can give similar production. It might be not to the same level.
Immediately.
Yeah, and especially with the understanding Danny has, and that's Danny's a Butkus finalist, and it's pretty clear when you watch him. Even if he's not getting tackles, he is the most impactful player that we have on our defense, because he gets everyone lined up. He gets the call in. Obviously, he's a green dot, so he has the speaker in his helmet, and he's able to help get everyone lined up, and he knows the defense really well. And for him to replace that's not going to be easy, but I do think we have the players to do that and to continue to have a really, really elite defense moving forward.
Right. I think because we're going to have that talent on defense, it really is going to be who's going to step up and be the leader, who's going to fill Danny's shoes in that aspect, who's going to get everybody lined up, who's going to take that responsibility. And I'm sure someone will do it. Kip Lewis, Desan, maybe even those young guys. I mean, Peyton Bowen, he's been playing now. He'll be playing year 3. So there's people out there that I believe can step up. I obviously don't know their personalities, so I don't know if they're the vocal leader type, but sometimes you just have to be. You get called upon. Offensively, we return. I mean, we should be returning everybody, essentially. So yeah, you're gonna
lose Tarquin. You'll lose a couple guys at the portal. I'm assuming Petaway will go to the portal. I'm assuming like Caleb Hicks will go to the portal.
We're not insiders.
Yeah, these are just guesses, but I'm assuming those guys will. Petaway is almost a guarantee because, he is a talented, athletic guy, and for whatever reason, I couldn't tell you, but he's just not getting playing time right now, so it'd probably benefit him to go to the portal. But, other than that, you're really not losing much. Yeah, but other than that, you're not going to lose too much. I don't think it's going to be I know Thune and other people have said that they expect, some stinging portal guys, but I really think a win like this against Alabama, and if you can go on it to LSU and win a road game in Death Valley at night, which is statistically I think the hardest place to play in college football, especially for a night game. The amount of, I think, encouragement that gives people that were on the fence and maybe thinking of leaving, I think you keep a lot of those guys on campus next year.
And let's not be blind. Every portal season the past few years, with the portal being what it is at NIL, there's been a stinging transfer, at least one, maybe more, every single year. So it's not going to be a new thing. And I mean, it is a business decision now and personal decisions for these kids, and you just kind of got to roll with the punches.
Oh, last thing, Jackson Arnold. I want to give him a shout out. I know he's probably watching, so good job.
Definitely tuned in.
Yeah. Jackson, I just want to say, good job. You know, the mental toughness, you can say a lot about whatever, how he's played or something. You know, again, I think a lot of that has just been a lot of it exacerbated by the fact he early on was getting beat up. As the line got progressively a little better, I think that was just in his head still, and it's hard to just adjust that mid-year.
And most people complaining about him have never taken a hit.
Yeah, I mean, you're just sitting there.
The
I mean, but one thing I don't think we can question is his mental toughness. I mean, to do what he had to go through with getting benched and then having to deal with what we all know how embarrassing that would be. I mean, you can just imagine being the starter, you're the 5-star quarterback, Dylan Gabriel leaves because he knows you're the heir apparent. You're the reason why, he went to Oregon. And, these are like those type of things, the spotlight's even more on you. And then you come out, you don't play your best, and you also have a lot of things around you that were there in the offseason practicing that aren't anymore. But then also, I mean, he didn't play his best, and I think obviously he would say that too. And then you come back in, you go to Missouri, you have the ending that game had where, you get stripped by a ghost and the ball just goes right into Missouri and you lose that game. And then to come out and to know you'd struggled holding on to the ball and to run 25 times and not fumble it, not put the ball in harm's way one time. To have the throw to Bauer Sharp, the 16-yarder for first down that he caught, and the one to Brennan Thompson on the slant route, like those are good throws. Yeah, the one to Jacob Jordan for the first down by our goal line,
and good decision making, like
right.
Pulling it when he's supposed to pull it, giving it when he's supposed to give it. Like I was proud of him.
Yeah, and to be able to do that and to perform like he did, I'm like his mental toughness. I just don't think you can question, and I think that's going to just benefit him. And maybe, if he's thinking about staying or going, I would love to see him in a system where he has a legitimate quarterback coach throughout the offseason. He has an offensive coordinator that is scheming people open in a way that I don't think Luttrell was, or maybe, and Joe John did a good job. He's doing the best with what he has right now. And it looks like the offensive line is coming together and gluing. And I know a lot of people on the Bill Bedenbaugh side of it are like, well, it took him, 11 weeks. It's like, yeah, that's true. But also, I think this is only the third game you've had the same starting lineman because of injury. At the same spot. Yeah. And so it's just like at some point you have to have people in the same position so they can get cohesion and they can get some rhythm with each other. Yeah.
I mean, if you want to say you didn't see it, you're just lying at this point because we all saw it.
Yeah.
My thing too is with the mental toughness. If you've played a sport, you've gone through a slump or you've gone through self-doubt, and it's not easy to pull out of. But how you do that is through playing. And so I am proud of them. And I will say, you mentioned Joe John. We found what we were doing well, and we stuck to it. We didn't try to do extra. We saw that our run game was relentless, and they were not stopping it. And we were running it until they stopped us, and they didn't. And finally, we didn't outsmart ourselves. Is that a way to put it? We didn't try to do too much. We did what was working, and it worked. It paid off.
Yeah, I'm just excited, man. It was such an awesome win.
Yes.
Way
and if
to
you were
get
at
out.
the stadium, you added some new fancy lights. Just you didn't know you needed it until we got it. They have some red lights lower and some strobes at the top. Very nice. Well done.
Yep.
Well done, Oklahoma.
It was better because of the win too, and that made it fun.
Yes.
Is anyone going to the Bayou this weekend? That's a good question, and it kind of leads us in, I guess, to the LSU game. It was. LSU has they're like a Jekyll and Hyde type of team.
Oh my gosh, that wasn't the words I was going to use.
Dang
it.
Think on your feet. They are. It's weird because it's Nussmeier can look like he's a first round draft pick and then look like he is not even going to be drafted or go to the league, and you really don't know what you're going to get. They do struggle. If you watch the Vanderbilt game and a couple games that they played. They do struggle defending the quarterback run, specifically whenever they do read option plays and stuff. Yeah, there we go.
You're stealing all my points.
When they do, and that bodes well for what Oklahoma has kind of figured out so far. And I think, a lot of people are asking, do you think they're going to switch? They don't need to switch anything. I mean, you got to let LSU prove they can stop it before you start, going to your, plan B and C. Plan A right now worked.
Right.
It doesn't mean it'll work with every team, especially now you're going to get film in a whole week of prep.
Yes, but why not?
Yeah. No, but yeah, but you still don't change anything.
And so speaking of, we need to talk to each other more before we do these things. So we're not just saying we're getting all the same points. But you mentioned Jalen Morrow ran all over them. And so I was really excited with what that meant for Xavier and Jackson Arnold. And I also looked up in their last 3 games, LSU has only had 1 sack. 1 total. Like not in each game, like total. And so I thought that was potentially in our favor. However, that does not mean they cannot sack. Against Texas A&M, they had 4. So they're still going to get pressure on you, but the fact they've only like executed and gotten 1 sack in 3 games is like, okay, like maybe our line is catching on, our running game is catching on, that could be a positive for us. And like you mentioned, I hope that we try it and we don't try to outsmart ourselves and we go out there and try that. And then if it doesn't work, try something else. Anything else?
Well, for LSU, really the key players are going to be like Kieran Lacey, number 2 receiver. He's got 55 receptions on the year for a little over 800 yards and 8 touchdowns. Another is going to be Mason Taylor, the tight end. Yeah, big dude. He's got 52 receptions, 518 yards, and 2 touchdowns as well. And then Aaron Anderson's another receiver that has 52, 778, and 2 tuds. I think they have 3 receivers with over 500 yards receiving, which is kind of a pretty impressive stat. They are kind of that's where Nussmeier is odd because he also has 11 interceptions. So, he can turn the ball over if you get pressure on him. And one thing OU is good at doing is pressuring.
And hopefully reading the passes like we did this weekend. I will say the player that I was impressed with when I was watching some LSU highlights was number 18, Josh Williams. He is a running back, but they kind of use him all over. And the one thing that I really noticed was you better get him down. And you better make sure he's down because if you're not getting him down, he will get extra yards. Whether that's an extra 2 yards or an extra 25 yards or taking it to the house, you have to wrap that kid up. I don't like how that sounded. But you have to get him down. You have to tackle him. He's strong. It's not going to be easy, but shut up. But that was, I think, who I was most impressed with watching back their highlights as well as their tight end. Big guy. And they throw it high to him intentionally. It reminds me of how we used to use like Jermaine Gresham. Like throw it high and let him go get it. That's how I feel about him. And I know we struggled with the tight end from Texas who's also big and they would throw it high since we do have, not a ton of size in our secondary. But hopefully we just play it well and can shut that down. Yeah,
they're LSU 64th in total in rushing defense. They're I think 60th in passing defense when I looked, and really also Caden Durham, running back for them, was it was us and it was him or Taylor Tatum for us, and ended up getting Taylor Tatum. I think it was when I heard that all that was going down, it was really their first guy to really commit.
You said committed, yeah.
Yeah, was going to be the one that we got, and that was Taylor Tatum.
He's not
Durham's
afraid.
Really good.
He's not really afraid. From what I saw, no, he's not afraid to return a kick. He's not afraid to return a punt. And you better be ready for him because dude is quick. But then they also use him in several different ways. As far as like you mentioned, their pass defense. Again, I don't always look at statistics like that because it's just harder for me to comprehend that. I just see what I see. And I noticed that it does look like they will give up that chunk play. They will give up some of those like long passes, which we haven't been super great with. But I'm looking at you, Jacob Jordan. I am looking at you, Bauer Sharp. Get set up, find your routes, catch the ball. So.
My sister is going to the LSU game. That's awesome.
Oh, prayers.
That is going to be a fun win for them to see in person.
I'm assuming they're not taking my nephew.
No, they're not.
Okay.
We'll talk about that off stream though. That's awesome. Hope you have fun, sis. Almost said your name, which I don't know if it'd be big deal or not. Oh yeah, last time we played LSU, it was you probably for my money played the best college team to ever play. I mean that was they had good. I think they had like 5 draft picks in the first 2 rounds or first round or something. I mean, dude, they had Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Joe Burrow. I mean, like the tight end was who was the tight end? I think
I've heard of some of those guys.
Yeah, who was their tight end? He was
Moss. You lost me.
Anyways, they were all stacked. I mean, and they had NFL offensive linemen, and I will say though, Jaden Hazelwood got literally tackled by that fresh Garrett Stingley Jr., who was the big time corner, but he also just tackled our player on a 3rd and long, in which would have continued to drive. Who knows what would have happened? We'd have probably only lost I don't know, 55-13 or 23 or whatever, 28, whatever it was. But it would have saved a little bit of, we could have knocked off some time.
Your ability to remember games.
Well, that
and
was
same with my father and my brother, or just men. Most of men, you guys' ability to remember plays like that. This is why I take notes. I could barely remember what happened.
Well, I'm able to remember most things, like
ago.
birthdays and events.
He's not. For years, he would say stats like this,
like
sports related, and I would ask him what his mother's birthday was, and that was the hard question.
23rd
of
March.
Okay, see, he's learned it now. But
love you, Mom.
we love you, Kim. But yes, hopefully it's not that score. That would be not fun after we just.
Unless it's like reversed, that'd be fun.
Yeah, hopefully it's that score in reverse.
If we score 63 points against LSU, first off, I don't know if I'd believe I'm awake. That would be insane. Also, question for me, as a speech pathologist, how does Britt Venable still have a voice?
I truly don't know. The man has some major hoarseness, glottal fry type.
Is it can you just condition your vocal foot? I mean, I don't even know.
I think this man has yelled his whole career, probably his whole life. No, there's no conditioning him at this point. That's just he's at where he's at. He probably has some major vocal nodules of sorts.
Is that like singers do the same thing? Is that why they can sing all the time and not get hoarse and stuff?
Well, they have some training and they use their diaphragm. I'm assuming a coach is yelling more from like their throat instead of their diaphragm, and probably not doing vocal exercises, probably not drinking enough water, not resting his voice because he's probably turning around the next day. And why are we on this topic?
Well, I was just curious. I was listening to his press conference, and I'm just thinking he's not even like he's hoarse, but like barely. He really, I mean, I don't know if he really almost sounded the same, and I'm just thinking that
it's just his voice.
Well, I almost didn't have a voice. We were eating at McDonald's after, and I barely could talk to my dad, and I was just like, I just yelled a little bit, not even not the whole game.
I yell much more at games than he does.
He said if they do. Yeah, she does, by the way. Much more than I do. If they do like what they did while I was at the LSU Sugar Bowl in 2003 and keep it close with a chance. Yes, and if Kewan Jones was, 5'10" instead of 5'8", we would have won the national championship that year.
If we didn't play a national championship in a home city or a home state.
That's what it was. Randy Moss's other son. His other son played at Maine. So there you go. They were stacked, dude. It was insane. But yeah, that'll get. I really think Oklahoma can win that game. It's a 6-point game. That seems like a lot to me. I don't gamble at all, so don't listen to my gambling advice. It does seem like a lot though, especially with how much LSU struggled defensively.
4.5.
It was 6 on. It might have changed. It was 6 on the ESPN app this morning.
Hey, we were a 2-score underdog at home to Alabama, so I had more faith into this game. This game meaning like LSU. I had more faith that this would be the one that like would be our best chance to be bowl eligible. So now I'm like here. So I was here of faith. Now I'm like here. But again, I'm not going to the Jekyll and Hyde-ness of LSU. I don't know what team's going to show up. Death Valley's not easy to play in. It's certainly not a quiet place to play in. Did I say Death Valley?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. In my head, I thought I said the Swamp, and I'm like, wow, that would be really embarrassing.
It'd be unforgivable.
It'd be unforgivable. But yeah, so I'm excited. We are not going, if we didn't already state that. We will not be in LSU. I will at Baton Rouge. I might not ever be in Baton Rouge.
Yeah, we haven't heard great things about going there. We've heard it's not a fun place for if you're a fan of another team. But.
Right, and I'm not confrontational, but I'll fight somebody. I don't know how to say that. Like, I don't like confrontation, but I am protective. So if somebody were to say something to, like, my husband or, like, my mom or my brother, like, I don't know, call it maternal instinct, call it little crazy Mexican woman, like, I'm ready to fight. So I might be in trouble if somebody was being mean or throwing something on me.
I'd heard that, and it's one of those, like, you don't know if it's just one person had a bad experience or what. Right. And then we're at the Ole Miss game, and a couple Ole Miss friends we were hanging out with them in their tent in their tailgate, and they even said, like, when they went down to play LSU, it was just a nightmare. Like, they had stuff thrown on them from some dude's car that was driving by.
Derogatory terms.
It was crazy.
Violence.
But, I don't know. I'm obviously they're great LSU friends, and some people probably go and have a blast every time, which is, fair enough.
And I will say, one of my best friends growing up was from Louisiana. They were LSU fans. And I was sitting there no older well, probably 10 years old, no older than 13 for sure, arguing with her dad about football. This grown man and I just arguing LSU and Oklahoma. And I mean, it was all in good fun, but at times I was like, this guy's getting a little heated towards me.
Yeah.
But he was good dude, great cook, loved staying the night at her house and eating their dinners. But they take it seriously. And I mean, as they should. But Godspeed to everyone going to Baton Rouge. Would love to hear about your experience. Hopefully I can get more pictures for that, make another video, and maybe not make it to where it doesn't upload. Figure it out.
Yeah. Listen, you give us some grace. We're still figuring out the ins and outs of everything. So eventually we'll have it all settled in, and it'll be pretty flawless. But for right now, we're still learning, and we still have full-time jobs, so it's not like we can spend every
Right. I literally
every
get off
hour on
work
it,
at
but-
6 and drive home fast, but not illegally, very safely. Get home. I don't even eat dinner. I change into an OU shirt because I can't, unfortunately, wear OU gear every single day at my job. Although, bosses, if you're listening, you guys are OU fans. Let's just implement that. And we just kind of, we're just moving really once, and he gets home before I do sometimes, and we're just moving and trying to get this done as fast as we can. So we're working on it. Anything else but LSU? Do you guys have any comments about LSU?
So.
Concerns? Excitement? Game plans? Again, I want to see another clean game.
I will just the two best defenses that LSU has played, Alabama and A&M. He's thrown 5 interceptions, and I think Oklahoma's defense is better than both of theirs, especially if they're out there not if they're out there for 54 plays like they were last game or whatever, and not what was it against
It felt like the whole game.
against Missouri, right?
Yeah.
76 plays against Missouri, or maybe 54. I think 54 and 76 around there,
And then
roughly.
South Carolina for like the whole game that they were out there.
Yeah, I mean they have the chance to do as well as anybody, but yeah, that's going to be an interesting one. Playoff picture that OU is not in. Just real quick, if Texas A&M beats Texas,
Georgia and A&M and the SEC.
yeah, and then imagine A&M beats Georgia, they'd get in, and then
And
Georgia would
three-loss
get in.
Georgia.
They would definitely get in, and then does Texas get in? They would have 2 losses.
Texas fans, sorry.
They'd
I
have
hope
no
not.
good win. They would have to get in. You'd have to put Texas in with 2 losses. I think they have an
I think
88%
my thing
chance.
with that is I truly think Texas is better than basically anybody in the Big 12. No offense, Big 12 teams.
No, but Boise State's going to get an automatic bid, and I'm sorry, Boise wouldn't. I mean, Vanderbilt, I think, would beat Boise.
We're already showing our SEC bias. Been here one season.
I'm
Already
just saying,
biased.
Oklahoma's getting hot at the right time. Playoff committee, if it's about the 12 best teams, I don't think you can deny it right now. That looked like, if we're going off one game, which, I'm not saying is a great thing to do, but if you were going to pick a week to do it.
Also, South Carolina.
Oh, dude,
How
tough
well
for
are they
them.
playing?
That's where it's tough because they're probably, as teams are playing right now, one of the top 5. I mean, they're beating everybody. And
I
they
felt like I
lost
was
to
saying
Alabama
that too
barely
about
did.
Ole Miss, and then they dropped the ball. So
Yeah.
never mind. Sorry, Rebels.
But, and South Carolina playing Clemson this weekend, going to be a good game. Clemson needs that to have a legitimate chance to make the playoff. But South Carolina's really good, and going to be good next year again. They have a lot of those
Clemson's
guys
done
coming
well.
back.
Besides that first game against Georgia, overall, I feel like they've.
Lost to Louisville earlier in the year, but
Yeah.
they're so I think you get Clemson. The automatic bid will be probably going to be Boise, and then I don't think it'd be SMU, or I don't think SMU is going to get in. I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see how they do that because the Big 12 champ
Automatic
will get in.
bid's going to be either, Oregon or Ohio State.
Yeah,
For sure.
and then 'cause you're-
Both of them. You got to have both in my opinion.
Yeah, but both are getting in for sure.
Because they look good.
Yeah, it's both are getting in for sure. And even if you don't, say Ohio State beats Oregon, you're probably going to get Oregon as the 5th seed, and then you're going to get Ohio State as whatever seed the Big
Right, because they would have avenged their
Big Ten
their
champ
loss.
goes in, and vice versa. I'm sure Ohio State would probably be unless if Georgia were to lose that. I don't know. It's
What a
interesting.
great year to have a 12-team playoff, though.
Could not have
Because
been better.
lots of parity.
Because you also have Notre Dame. You only have 3 SEC teams in the playoff. There's a chance that could happen. If Texas beats A&M, they're in. Georgia would be in. Either win or lose the SEC, so that's 2. Then you're going to have Ohio State, Oregon, probably Penn State,
Or Indiana.
which I can't stand. Or Indiana.
Just Indiana be
Probably Indiana. Then you're going to have Notre Dame.
Gotta have whoever
Boise.
wins the Big 12.
Yeah, whoever wins the Big 12. So I don't know who that even would be right now, but
there's like there's several teams that have the potential to play in the championship.
Mm-hmm.
It's wild.
Yeah, so you could have, from what we thought, would have like a 5-team conference. It might only end up being about 3 teams, which is kind of crazy. Tennessee might sneak in there too, but you never know. And
lots of contenders. I almost said chicken tenders is what it sounded like. Lots of contenders, and I'm glad it's not my job because there's going to be a lot of angry teams. But
hey, by the way, Hall of Fame college football, which I'm just assuming HOF stands for, has really good stuff. So if y'all ever find his YouTube or find his streams, he does a really good job. And listen, I have a newfound respect for people that do content for anything because my goodness, like just figuring out how to do the microphone and
which
get it to relay.
We still failed. I say we. I'm not even touching it. I would have.
But yeah, clearly I'm still
learning.
learning.
Let's make it like a Zoom. Lighting.
Mm-hmm. But go support them. Just throw a like on their videos and stuff, and it takes like 1 second, and it really does help from what I'm hearing. I haven't really looked into it.
Got a fist bump and a bro hug. I don't know why the bro hug makes me laugh.
Shane Beamer's awesome. They played a pretty cool video of them in the locker room after they beat LSU or A&M after they beat A&M. He had a really cool video with his wife there and stuff, and they were dancing and singing. It was a pretty cool deal.
I never saw that.
So
I'll have to look it up.
It was like
Speaking
a hype video.
Coaches, since we play LSU, does anybody else get irrationally annoyed by Brian Kelly?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what it is about the man. He's never done anything that I've seen that like just outwardly makes me just like not like him.
He's kind of got froggish eyes or something like that.
I don't know. Something about him just irks me. It gets under my skin.
Mm-hmm.
And I straight up asked an LSU like fan on X, like, do y'all like him? I don't know. Something about him just, yeah. Maybe he's a good dude. And Brian Kelly, if you somehow ever see this, I'm sorry. I don't know what it is. It's a me problem, truly.
No offense. But
no offense, but offense, I guess. But it's a me problem. I don't know. I just don't know if anybody else has that same irrational
same thing, yeah.
ick.
He also has that history of like the cringy recruiting videos he did and like all that stuff.
That's
like, Brian,
I'm not.
Mr. Kelly, stop it.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the TikTok stuff.
Yeah, I'm not
in general, but
I'm also not a fan of some of the rap music they have on these videos. But if it gets players to commit and they like them, I don't understand why you like hearing people mumble and just sound like they're whining.
Or sound like the nails on a chalkboard.
And do it off beat, which is just the worst. But all right, well, it is time. First off, behind T, you see this. I mean, let's just call it what it is. Absolute abysmal showing by Zeno first week. You got to show up. You got to. He just didn't perform well. Well.
He picked Ohio State though twice because I told you I had that error in videoing. He did pick Ohio State twice, so got that one right. Unfortunately, BYU did not win, which I would have chose BYU too. So I lost. Oh no, I did choose BYU and they lost. Pitt did not win. They lost to Louisville. Alabama did not win. They lost to Oklahoma. Ha ha ha. So I'm happy he was wrong on that one. What was the other one? Trying to think. Oh, Army got their booty spanked too. So LSU fans liked him 3 weeks ago at 6-1. Not now. Okay, college football fandom. It's just how it is.
Yeah.
Waxes and wanes.
But he's back.
He's back. Now I will say, this was. So I said he was going to only pick 5 games. I could not eliminate a game. So he has 6 games because I couldn't get rid of the Iron Bowl. I couldn't get rid of Ohio State, Michigan, and I wanted to add some other obviously I couldn't get rid of the OU game. So I wanted to add some other like tough matchups, some close matchups. So you get a bonus game this week. So maybe he'll do a little bit better. We will update his record accordingly. So hopefully this time next week it's 6 or 7-4.
By the way, I just want to point out, y'all see the little O's they make pause? That was T that did that, by the way. She came in here late and added those. I thought that was a
I
good
work
touch.
with children, guys. So.
And she's talking about me. So anyways, all right. Here we
Okay,
We're
sorry.
going to start it. Oh,
We need to hide this comment.
I'm not sure how to do right now.
Go back to the comments.
There we go.
Okay, that's away.
We
And
need to
hopefully
hide
we
it.
can
Oh.
get the music to play this time too. Sorry, I worked hard on this. I
No,
want
that's
the
fair.
music.
That's fair. I wonder why it's not. That's so cool. That's funny.
Okay, so apparently there was music.
We
We're just
couldn't hear
having
it.
a rough
We couldn't
day.
hear it. We
We're
couldn't hear it.
having a rough
There was
day.
a. We usually have our headphones in, so we're all good.
Yeah.
But we didn't have them in tonight, and so we couldn't hear the music. But it's all good. So,
Right.
all right. I think we pretty much hit everything we wanted to. Do you have anything else you wanted to?
I like his picks this week, personally. Did y'all notice how what he did to Texas? When I tell you, I cackled when I was recording that. So much that Chad was like, what just happened? I was like, you have to watch what he just did to Texas. So even our dog puts the horns down. But I just thought it was funny. Granted, I think Texas has a good chance to win, but the pettiness.
What's up,
I
Sean?
don't know. Hey,
Hey.
brother-in-law. But yeah, I agree with a lot of his picks. I think the hardest one for me was more so just South Carolina, Clemson. If South Carolina of late shows up, I think they win. If South Carolina of early
Yeah.
shows up, I think Clemson has it. Other than that, I pretty much agree with his picks. Again, as an OU fan, drinking that hope that we pull another upset and go pull one in Death Valley, but I know that's not an easy task.
Well, I feel much better about it after last
for
week for sure. I think you finally have something that's repeatable. You can run game travel. So that's something that I think is going to end up continuing to be able to be, kind of used and utilized. But
Oh, Harry, thank you. So we appreciate all the hard work
Oh.
you put in. Thank you. We will get better, guys.
yeah,
I
thank you very much.
promise.
Thank you. Thanks, Mark.
Thanks, Mark.
Appreciate it. I'm drinking the hopium too. That's funny. So we're all a Bama fan, but congrats to you. Great game and win. Likely ended Kalen DeBoer's experiment. I don't know if it'll end it
know
after
that.
1 year. That's tough. Also, Bama, Saban got out really at the right time because, Bama's not going to be able to stack, or really any team, stack talent like they did back in like the early 2000s, to 2015. Right. And especially like Trent Richardson, running backs of that level in college, like that was their third string at one point. That's not going to be something that happens anymore. That guy will transfer out, go to another university, and start that next year instead of waiting 2 years to get in. And it's just
paid doing it.
exactly, yeah, and get paid doing it. And so it's going to be interesting to see kind of how those teams that were traditionally so had so much depth that was elite, that how they're going to kind of handle that NIL going forward, which would be an interesting show too, because I have theories
Right.
on
Which
how
is
they're gonna
why,
do it.
I mean, Nick Saban himself said one of the reasons he got out was NIL. He said that he used to have the moms come in and have dinner with Miss Terry. And before the dinners were all about how is Saban going to turn my son into a man? How is he going to develop him to be, a great member of society? Basically, I mean, to be a man, essentially, to grow from a boy to a man, have that responsibility, have that mindset, have that dignity. And then it turned into how much money can Alabama give my child?
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, most people that go into coaching go in because you want to develop children, quote unquote. I know these are legal adults, but you go into because you want to have that development and you love the game. And when it's no longer about that development, it's no longer necessarily about the love of the game. There's that monetary aspect. it takes it away from it, I would assume, obviously, as a coach, and it makes it harder. But
the one thing Alabama's got to get back to doing though is they're the best when they can run the ball. They're really quarterback dependent right now. Like when Milroe plays good, I think y'all are. I mean, probably top 3 team in the country. I think if every team plays their A game, I'd put my money on Georgia still because they're just. I mean, they're that's just because their A game. Carson Beck isn't throwing 3 interceptions against Texas and doing all that stuff.
Beck, I don't understand him.
Yeah, that's another. He's like Nussmeier to me again. He's a Jekyll and Hyde type of quarterback.
Also,
if he's
have
playing
y'all
well,
seen
he's
his
good.
photo?
Which one?
When it like pops up to talk about Carson Beck during games, it looks like he has like heavy makeup on.
He looks like Sid the Sloth from Ice Age. That's what he looks like. Well, it's true. I mean, it's not mean.
Not nice.
I would take his athleticism to look like. It's not
Not nice.
First off, I never said Sid the Sloth was ugly. I just said he
Who
looks
in
like.
the history of the world has wanted to look like Sid the Sloth?
Well, I don't know.
Nobody
I'm sure
cares
some
about
people want to look
Sid
like
the
Carson
Sloth.
Beck, and he looks like It's not. I'm not being rude about it. I don't think, but
It's hard to replace the legend king of the game.
Well, yeah. I mean, could you imagine that? That's like, I mean,
That'd be like Chad divorcing me and marrying literally anybody else. You just can't. I'm just kidding.
I mean, you know.
Just kidding, guys.
It would be a tough one. I don't really know what to do with that. I mean, that was a great line by you, by the way. That was
Thank
funny.
you.
That was awesome.
I'm obviously very humble.
All right. Well, show number 2, live 159, right?
Yeah. Sorry for all our hiccups. Hopefully Zeno's better. Hopefully we get better. And
Zeno's
hopefully
gonna be better in 1 and 4. Hey,
and
by the way, check
hopefully
this out.
it's a win for us.
Girl, you're not wrong.
Thanks, Stacy. So if you are going to Baton Rouge, keep us updated. I will ask for updates of your experiences, your photos, because we truly want to know.
Yeah.
I trust a lot of you Sooners on here, whether I've met you in person or not. So I would trust your opinions. We have some friends going as well. Obviously, we have family going. So we'll hear those opinions. But hopefully you leave there with a win too. And you can eat some gumbo just happy as a clam, happy as a crawfish.
Last time we were going to go to LSU was what, the Tulane, or Louisiana was the Tulane game.
And the hurricane
And the
went
hurricane
through.
came.
You know how disappointed I was wasn't going to get some crawfish etouffee.
Yeah.
I was disappointed. Granted, people were losing their homes in a hurricane, so I will count my blessings.
But Lord forbid T not get her etouffee.
It's good food.
No, I'm just kidding.
Enjoy all the food. Get
Yeah,
a
the
baguette.
food's
Well, they probably have beignets, and I said baguette. That's French.
Yeah.
Well, no,
Yeah,
French
French,
and
yeah.
no, never mind. But I meant beignet. But anyways, we're gonna stop talking now.
All right.
You guys have a good week. Have a good Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Have a good Black Friday. If you actually they don't really have sales anymore.
Yeah, they do.
Don't
Well,
punch
it's more like
anybody.
months, I think. But
Yeah. And hopefully OU punches LSU. Bye, guys.
Yeah. Well, thank y'all for joining.
Boomer.
Boomer sooner. All right. That was good.